This is the Birthing Truth podcast where guests spill their unvarnished, honest, and naked truth.
Naked. I'm your boy Black Bluez.
And I'm Courtney, Elaine.
And today we have a lady with us who wants y'all to know she has excellent credit.
That's right.
She's a cupcake snob.
That's right.
And her real hair is long, but she loves a good weed.
And that's that on that.
This is my spiritual twin.
And my best friend in my head.
That's right.
All right, welcome the Gully Princess,
Hey.
Ebony Stewart.
What's going on?
All right. So, Courtney, what set you repping today, Courtney?
I am repping creativity.
Creativity.
Pull it all up in my spirit.
Right.
You know, working on things.
Jiggering-
Giving birth.
Giving birth, jiggering around and stuff.
Ricka-rackery.
Ricka-rackerin'. All right. And the set I'm claiming today is safety and precautions, because I don't want the Rona.
Is that the Rona?
Not the Rona.
Not
I want
the
to
Rona.
keep. So I'm going to keep my stuff to me. You keep your stuff to you. So what set you claiming, Ebony?
The set I'm claiming is patience.
Mm.
It's a practice, a constant movement of things.
Oh,
Yes.
definitely. Do I have patience?
Oh,
No.
I
No,
don't.
Sorry.
I'm trying to work on that. I think I'm gonna get some patience. What they sell it at the CVS?
not where they sell it at.
That's where I can go pick up a pack of patience.
Pick up a pack of
A couple pack of patience. Listen,
So, Ebony, let's talk about you. Let's give us some facts, or not facts about you, but let us know what you're doing. Like, what do you have going on creatively right now?
That's right. Well, currently, Rona has set everybody down, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting down, and I'm actually leaning into and excited about the idea of just like being around family, cooking my own food, sleeping in my own bed, and hopefully, if the artist pen strikes, I will move and make movement with my pen and create as much as I possibly can during this time. But I'm also in graduate school to be a social worker and a therapist for artists. But
Wow.
yeah, so that's what we're doing
need
right
that.
now. Yeah, I want to be able to offer affordable therapy specifically to artists.
I love that idea. So,
Yeah.
give us a little bit of information about who you are as far as an artist and what would lead you to that point.
Who I am as far as an artist, I don't know. I feel like that's a layered question a little bit. What I can tell you is that if I fail at anything, it will not be love. What I can tell you is that I mean what I say and I say what I mean. If I don't like you, you know I don't like you, and I have my reasons about that. And I feel like my work does all of that to be relatable, to be honest, to be conscious, and true to myself. So I guess that's the kind of artist I am. But sometimes I feel like on the other side of that thing, artist for the people, and I let the people decide in a lot of ways what kind of artist I am for them and how that translates into their life and their world. And I don't have anything to do with that sometimes.
Right.
I like the idea of that, yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. To get on to be the artist that you want to be, but at the same time still serve the people.
That's right.
What they want. I think you do a great job
Thank you.
that. Definitely.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right. So, a mocker seeks wisdom and never finds it, but knowledge comes easily to those who understand. That's a proverb from the Bible.
The Holy Bible.
Yes.
Okay.
Which will lead us into our Google education degree, where we talk about the last thing we Googled. Basically, the last thing that we got our GED,
Got our GED
in, or the
in.
last
That's
thing that we
right.
looked up
That's
on
right.
Google. So, who I'm gonna start with? Ebony.
Oh, we starting with me first. Okay.
Let's see. Let's
Here.
see.
With my first, let
It's
me
the
let me
last
open
thing
it.
that you Googled,
Right.
ma'am.
Let me find
Let
mine.
me see. That's right. Y'all got time to look y'all's up. Now I gotta gotta pull mine up. Oh wow. Okay. Mine is touch deprivation. Touch deprivation. Have you ever heard of this?
No,
It sounds like
explain.
being without touch.
Give me my
Yes. So
Without-
educate us.
I had originally looked up, does touch cause withdrawal? Or a starvation of a sorts. And it said that depression, low mood, anxiety, and being withdrawn can be signs of skin hunger. In addition, those who are touch deprived may be more likely to have this, and which is a condition that inhibits people from expressing and interpreting their emotions.
Wow.
So having a skin hunger, not being touched, and needing to be touched or wanting to be touched.
Oh, she got her degree.
Wow.
She got her degree.
Come through.
And
Ooh,
it also
was free.
It also inspired a poem in my head.
Me too.
About hungry skin.
That's right. Me too. Let's get in this groupie.
Okay.
See, it inspires me to go and look it up myself.
Right.
You know, like,
that is
I love
good.
that.
Touch deprivation.
That's right.
it actually goes into what I actually Googled, which is being depressed and being present
Oh wow.
in the moment of being depressed.
Oh wow.
And what led me to looking this up was I'm a graphic designer, and I had some family members ask me to design some things for them. It's first it was my cousin who was a male. He wanted me to design a logo, and so I was deep down in depression.
Wow.
And everything in me creatively wanted to do it,
Right.
but the depression wouldn't allow me to do it.
That's right.
And so I had to tell him in a way that I'm not going to be able to do this for you. And I was trying, I guess last night I was in a process to where I was thinking, like, how do you go about telling someone that without really,
That's right.
because sometimes, you know, Black people don't like to talk about depression and things like that.
Right. It don't exist.
You know, go
You
to
better pray to Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm religious.
Yeah.
However, you know, there are people who have professionally studied the mind and you know,
That's right.
psychological things like
Right.
that, and so utilize them.
Right.
So basically, I was trying to figure out, how do I tell someone this in a way for them to understand. So I went to Google to try to.
That's right.
Let's
figure that out.
So I got my GED. Listen. So I Googled, are Asian people colored or white?
Come through.
Because on a previous episode I said that they only had 2 people of color nominated for Oscar, and one was Black and one was Asian.
Yes.
And then when I watched that back, I was like, are Asian people of color? And so I had to Google that.
Yeah. Tell us.
And they actually are people of color. They don't like to identify as people of color though, like while they're in the United States.
already got that.
But they said that they were a largely marginalized group. So it's like they go through the same thing that African Americans go through, not to the same extent.
Right.
But they said that they have been discriminated against at like almost the same rate as African American.
I can
Just not
believe
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the places that they come from, some of them are poorer countries.
Right.
So they said that they are actually, well, the one article that I read said that they was arguing that they are actually people of color also. And
Wow.
I never really thought of them as anything until I said that. Because for me, it's like white people, and then people that's not white is people of color to me.
Okay.
But I had to look it up. I had to Google that thing, and
That's
I got my.
You got the degree.
I got my degree.
You got your degree, child. You
I
can
got
walk
my
across
degree.
the stage. Your
That's
family
right.
will be there rooting
Magna
you
cum
on.
laude.
That's a good grade.
Am I the valedictorian?
That's
That's what I'm trying to be.
It's just
you.
Valedictorian. It's just me though. I'm the only person going after that degree.
right. That's right.
Oh my god.
Hilarious. So if you want people to understand you, speak their language. That's an African proverb. So this brings us to our country word of the day. In this segment, we explore how country Black folk have made the English language our own. So our country word of the day today is minejoo. Minejoo. M-I-N-E-J-O-O.
Jew.
Jew. Minejoo.
Mind you.
In English, it's mind you. And the dictionary tells us that mind you is a phrase used to make sure someone is paying attention to a particular piece of information, right? So, you ready to use mind you in a sentence?
Let me think on
You
that.
gonna think
I
on
want to
it?
think. Let me
Yeah.
see.
Let me see. Let me see. I can use mind you because like I say that stuff.
Because you say that all the
Yeah,
time.
it's like already in my vocabulary. So let's see. they done went up in Kroger and bought up all the alcohol. Mind you, they don't even know how to make hand sanitizer. They don't know how to make no hand sanitizer.
He mad about that, girl, because he's trying to make his own hand sanitizer.
Because I can. I have looked it up.
It has gotten real.
Okay, and that's why you went in there to try to see if you could get it.
I got 2 bottles.
Okay. So you over here stockpiling? Is that what you?
Stocking it just in case, you know.
Oh my word.
Okay. He went through all of that. Mind you, he came here today with no hand sanitizer.
Because I haven't made it yet. I have essential. I have like a mango papaya oil, but I don't want to use it all in there. And I got my little gel stuff. They have cooling mint and lipper in it. It's a lump lip or something. It's in there. And then I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna use it. Y'all don't be jealous. It's gonna be like a big old bottle.
That's right. Well, you gonna sell it or what's the plan?
Dang, think about that.
Mind you, you're supposed to be thinking about how to make a profit from time to time.
I love it. So I've heard mind you a lot, like going around, like it's just something that we say in my family without even thinking. But I don't even think we really use it that, saying it's a particular piece of information that I want you to listen to. I feel like when we say mind you, it's like, just like adding on, like you ain't gonna but you ain't gonna believe this part. So that's it.
That's kind of the same. Yeah. You just didn't realize that you were doing it that in exact way. Yeah.
But that is it.
I'm
smart.
That's right.
I'm smart. I know how to use my words.
I only use
black people crafty.
Right.
That is so true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so true. We are now in our truisms segment of the podcast where we discuss topics that affect us. An English proverb says, "A good payer is a master of another's purse." Think about that. Today, we will discuss how black people will snatch their money up out of their checking account when they got to pay a bill.
Right. Because
how
sometimes,
trifling is that?
Because what happens sometimes is, and I'm speaking for the people now.
Okay. Speak for the people then. This for the culture now.
Is that what it is?
So what happens is sometimes you have stuff on like automatic pay.
Yes.
And then when it's time for that automatic pay to come out, you like, oh, wait a minute, I can have a couple days. They're not gonna cut it off, but let me snatch it out so I can have this extra money, and then I can put it where it needs to go. I can just go to the store or somewhere and just go and pay it.
Okay. That's for the people.
That's for the people. Did I say I meant them? That's what they do. The people. I mean, you don't want them taking your money when you want that right now.
I get it, but I also, this is the way I think about it. If you know you got Apple Music, and you know every month they gonna come in and they're gonna take their money. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the money does not belong to you. It should be there for them to take it because you owe them already. You'd already used the services.
Yeah, but
you got the Bluetooth hooked up to your car. As soon as you get in the car, it's playing, whatever you want to listen to. So why are you taking it out of there? Black people need to they need to budget.
That's
and
true.
Manage their money more properly.
Some black people.
You won't. Some black people. So you will not find yourself in such a situation to where you need to go and snatch money out of your account
and move it around.
Yeah,
because I can surely move it around. They can't get to that right then if I don't want them to. That's so you got to have this card and that card, and then your cash out card just in case. It's mandatory.
That's right.
So you don't want them to don't just take it when I want. It's just like somebody, that somebody's gonna ask you to borrow. Like I have a roommate, and she might ask me, "Hey, you have some extra toilet tissue?" But I want her to ask me first. Don't just come in there and just grab it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know she ain't gonna have anyway.
The thing is that you've already given them permission.
Yeah.
Because if they have your information, that means that you gave it to them.
Yeah, for $5 off my bill.
Oh Lord, I cannot stand this boy.
This equation is trifling. That's all. I'm messing with y'all.
Ball of triflingness.
Ebony, have you ever done that though? You snatched your money out?
Here's I hear both sides of this, right? And I can actually see how Both of them make a lot of sense. I guess to some degree, it's like on your side, Courtney, it's almost as if like, does that mean that when you pay your insurance every month, should they give you some money back if you didn't get no accidents? You know what I'm saying? Like, should I be getting some of my money back?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But then also, like, the contract that's been signed is that you will make sure that this money is in place for them to come and take it. I do believe that everyone should be able to move their money around, though, that sees fits to their needs. But I feel like also in marginalized communities, we haven't been given the proper knowledge on how to properly take care of our finances. And so that's what the real meat of it is for me.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes you
I
think
totally
of,
agree on that.
right. That makes you think of credit and how certain people, sometimes mainly black people, were view credit and how white people view credit. Because my mom told me that, my mama know everything. The gospel of Mama V.
That's right.
Okay. And Mama V told me that white people will use credit their whole life.
That's
and they will die owing, discovering everybody. But they
mama.
made sure they was in good standing.
That's right.
And they kept it going the whole time. Whereas us, they give us a credit card. Well,
Rick
me,
rack 'em.
I'm going to tell you about me. Swipe.
Rick-a-rack 'em.
Stuff I don't even need.
I love it.
Just building up, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well then let me pay some on this. So only reason why I'm paying is so they don't cut my card off.
Right. But also black people are
Ghetto.
like, there's a devalue in that, right? Like we're not even given the proper means to be able to keep up with. And so then therefore we're like, I have this card, let me go ahead and take care of all of my needs. You know what I mean? Because now I have this money. So let me and I'll worry about the rest of that whenever it comes through.
Yeah, and then you think about the people who go into it and they actually have the intention
That's right.
on doing right, and then they're still set up for failure because they don't have the information to do it the right way.
That's right.
So they kind of go in like, oh, okay, I got this, I can do this, and then the next thing you know, something happens, and then they're not able to keep it up the way that they initially thought they would be able to.
That's right. When y'all were in school, like in high school preferably, I guess, did you all get like a checks and balance class and talked about credit and all of that?
We did in economics, but we didn't really talk about credit. We talked about how to fill out a check and
You
all
see?
that and balance the checkbook.
You see?
Yeah.
And I feel like that would have been beneficial,
Yeah.
right? Like they
I
spent
think
so
that it
much
really
time
is.
talking about trigonometry and algebra and all of that kind of madness. But like,
Definitely.
what about the actual, soft skills that people need to make it just,
Right.
you know?
That way I don't have to go and snatch my money
That's
out.
right.
I actually
have
had
to go snatch your money out.
I actually had a transaction go through today that I knew it was coming out, but then I was like, when I saw it, that's kind of rude.
That's right.
But-
That's
Mad
right.
about it.
I'm kind of just mad because I feel like, listen, don't come for my money. Y'all know what's going on in this country right now.
Right.
Just everything.
Yes.
No bills. No bills right now.
Cancel
currently.
everything.
Cancel it all.
Cancel it all.
Let us make
Cancel culture.
Right. Get rid of it.
it. That's right.
But yeah, I don't know. I jump in there like I'm gonna do right. Like
That's
if
right.
these people give me another credit card,
If it ever
they
happens.
haven't been playing with me. So I want to do right. I want to pay my bill. And just boom, then go into Forever. Is Forever 21 still here? I thought
Forever
that was
21
good.
is here, I
Yeah.
thought.
Okay, yeah, but go up in there and just zoom.
That's
I
right.
need
But
these
you can get a
pants.
secured card, and
But they want
put your money-
$200.
yes, but after a certain season,
They want $200 of my money.
the
I gotta
triflingness
start out
of
giving
this
them
man.
$200 so they can give me some credit.
triflingness.
That's how much credit costs.
You're crazy.
Oh,
I love
I'm
it.
just done with you,
I love
child.
So we'll go to the Spill the Truth section of our podcast, and there's a quote by Flannery O'Connor that says, "The truth does not change according to our ability to stomach it." So this takes us to an oath that we would like for you to take.
Okay.
So just repeat after me.
Let me hear it.
Even if my truth offends the people that I love,
Even if my truth offends the people that I love,
I promise to spill the whole truth.
I promise to spill the whole truth.
The bucktooth truth.
The bucktooth truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Because this is how it showed up in my life.
Because this is how it showed up in my life.
There we go.
Okay. So we asked you to tell us 3 words that describe your past. The first word is young.
Mm-hmm.
The dictionary says young, the meaning of young is having lived or existed for only a short time.
Mm-hmm.
When you say young, does that correlate with being inexperienced or fresh and new for the people?
Yes, I feel so. Yeah, I don't know enough. It's almost as if it's like ignorance, right? And people take ignorance to be a negative thing, but it can also just mean you don't know something.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'm ignorant. I was ignorant to certain things, and I'm still ignorant to certain things now, which means I'm young and new to a lot of different things.
Right.
And it's refreshing to hear somebody say that, because so many people are so caught up in acting
That's right.
like they know it all.
Not over here.
Instead of just admitting, like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know everything.
Right.
And that's okay too.
Because once you stop learning, you're dead.
Come on. Y'all
Come
been
on,
dropping
Mama
these
told
jewels
you.
all day.
Come on, Miss V.
My mom said, once you stop learning, you're dead.
That's right. I need to meet your mama. Come on here, mentor. Yes.
Right. My mom saw you at Black Excellence, actually. She was there. She really enjoyed you.
Oh man, you should. How
really
you just not
enjoyed
gonna
you.
introduce me to your mother though?
I know. That was kind of rude.
It was a lot rude. I hope the opportunity comes again.
Right. More than likely. She loved to come to see me perform.
Of course.
I used to watch her perform when I was a kid, and now she watches me.
Wow.
So cool. So you said another word you said was insecure.
Mm-hmm.
In the Hebrew, come on
Pastor here.
In the Hebrew, this word can mean not confident or assured. That's definitely not in the Hebrew. Not confident or assured, uncertain or anxious. Can you tell me something that directly affected your insecurities?
Directly affected my insecurities. I would say when I decided to be a full-time artist, I didn't know if if I was confident enough to actually secure the bag, if that makes sense, right? So a lot of it is just about your confidence and how secure you can feel, and going back to like what knowledge you know, right? Or what you've learned or what you're willing to learn. And specifically, I didn't necessarily believe in myself. And I feel like in that was layered with so many other things of maybe just your background or people that you love or people that you admire might tell you that it's hard, and that might make you feel insecure. It might make you feel like you can't do it. You might see a lot of failure around you. And so it's like, okay, well, does that mean that this is not going to work for me, or is this how it's going to turn out for me? And so I was very insecure in my voice and what I sound like and what I look like to people. Because as we know, a lot of times people judge you before you even say anything. Right. And so I just had a lot of insecurities about my thoughts and how I wanted to share that as well, and how it would be perceived.
Wow.
Wow. Does that answer? I don't know. I feel so much pressure because I don't know if it's making sense. So I feel very insecure right now. Right?
No, it makes so much sense. And you know what's crazy is you cracked the shell, because I don't see that when I seen you. I never saw insecure. I felt like, oh, she's confident in everything that she's doing, and she automatically knows where she fits and how she's going to do her thing.
Thank you.
So
I like it because it's just you speaking that truth on the inside that people don't see.
That's right.
You know, because it takes a lot to get on a stage and get in front of people and do things and not feel that insecurity. I think that's kind of what has stopped me over the years.
Oh wow.
Of getting on stage and being in front of people, because I think I'm too much in my head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you have to just get out of your head and just do it.
That's right.
Right. For a long time, I never liked the pictures that they took of me on stage. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I look like? That's the face I made?
Get my good side.
Right. And I hated it. And then at one point, it was like, I started to love the ugliest pictures. The craziest face I make is the one that I really like. Because it's like, in theater, I grew up to not pay attention to what you look like. And when I first started being a poet, I was all about what I look like my image and what people would think of who I am. You know, Black Bluez was a very serious person to the outside world.
That's right.
When I'm just crazy.
So, and we accept all of that.
Right. Yeah, and it's multiple sides. You know?
That's right. That's right.
Speaking of that, let's go to your third word, which is unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
Which means having a tendency to say things with no regards to consequence. Tell us about a time where not having a filter got you in trouble.
Oh, a time, yes, because I don't even know if it's just like about my past. I feel like I come up against this now often enough, I guess I should say. I try to be very aware of what I'm saying, but sometimes like intent versus impact is different, right? So I could say something and not be meaning no harm to nobody and somebody take offense to it. And so I can say one of the reasons why I don't have Snapchat is because I was unfiltered at one particular time. So let me just give y'all this quick story.
Yes.
A school in Lebanon, Illinois. Yeah, then y'all can go look up what school it is. And they had brought me to the school and they put me up in a hotel, and I didn't find out till I got there that the hotel was a Motel 6, and that goes against my contract. Right. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm being bougie. Maybe I need to pull back, right? And I looked up. Let me look at the reviews, right? Maybe there's a Motel 6 that's on some kind of other level. You see what I'm saying? That's right. And so I looked it up, and it said that it was like a sex trafficking place, that there were bed bugs and just all of these reviews that kind of took me all the way out. Right. And so when I got to the school, of course I stayed somewhere different at the Drury Inn, child. And so because I didn't understand why they just didn't put me at the Drury Inn, but that's neither here nor there. And when I got to the school, I did my set. Everything was fine. I went on Snapchat afterwards and I was like, yo, this was a great show, but also let me tell you how they tried to play me, right? And I was going in. I was using a lot of words. And so, yes, that suggested that I was displeased and disgusted. And it was, B word that, N word this, MF for that. And the students that had just followed me on Snapchat showed it to their advisor. Wow. And their advisor, who didn't have Snapchat, recorded it from his phone, from a student's phone, and sent it to my agency. Wow. And here I am having to make a decision about my ego or my pride. Like, I'm not apologizing. I meant what I said versus I'm not sorry about what I said. I'm sorry about how I said it, and I should have been smarter about the way I went about it, right? Because sometimes you need to be able to keep certain things to yourself, which is that filter that I could have just went and complained to my friends and my family instead of going on social media and complaining in that way. So,
ooh, child.
Yeah, that's right.
Just went in there and went.
I had to learn. I did. I popped.
She said, go
all
off.
The way off. That's right.
Go off then.
Go off. AWF is how I did that one. That's how I did that one.
So, Ebony, what is your truth and what sacrifices have you made to live in it?
Oh, my goodness. Give me some more information about what this question means. Y'all doing so good. I'm overwhelmed.
I know that you told us that one thing about you is that you keep choosing relationships with folks that aren't available in the ways that meet your needs and your wants.
Bluez, you be listening, huh?
Okay. I don't forget nothing.
I see that elephant come through.
So, what you call it? Elephant.
Oh, they don't forget. Memory? That's right.
Yeah. But so with that being said, how do you? Like what gets you there? What are you looking? What are you looking for? Initially, what are you looking for?
That's right.
When you run into these people,
you know what? We don't know, and that's probably the part of the problem is that we need to have a better idea of what it is that we want when we go into these things. I think also a little bit of it for me is that I fantasize what I actually want and can romanticize an idea so much so that I think that a person is going to be able to do and be exactly what it is that I see in the potential of them, which is not always true to who they actually are and can be. So, I just that, and that's hard. That's so hard for me, to admit to myself. And by the time I admit it, I'm in that thing. I'm committed. I'm wrapped. And then because I'm so loyal, sometimes it's to a fault. And, I think I don't always know how to turn it off, right? And so I say, if I fail at anything, it will not be love, because I know how to do that very well. It's just that, and love doesn't change. Love is love, right? Love is always love. People change, expectations change. The idea of what we believe love is changes, and so I think as I try to navigate that, I want something. And it seems so simple, and then as time goes, we grow into these other ideas and wants, desires that I might not be allowing other people to live up to. It might not be realistic.
Right.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I was just talking to you and I was like, remember I said, I don't think I've ever dated anyone that I really, really, really liked. Like, or was head over heels for, was just my type to 100%. And that I have gone out and said, oh, this is what's out here. Well, I got to pick one of them. And then I picked the one that's the closest, as opposed to finding, what I really, 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 really want.
Wow.
And that's why I've been single like since forever.
So you've been single since forever.
I'm good with it.
So it's a choice that you're making to be single then?
Yeah, because I just don't believe that it's going to happen for me. And I don't want to waste no more time.
You just... we'll talk later.
Okay.
Talk later.
That's just how I feel.
Because you have your friends, your people that you love.
That's right.
You want a certain thing for them.
That's
I
right.
want more for him. And I need you to.
I'm sick of that.
Okay.
I need you to feel that in your spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I definitely called your boyfriend my best friend's babe this morning. It's like, thank you, best friend, babe. Because I don't have nobody to call babe. So
you just want to say babe. Yes.
Thank you, best friend, babe.
Oh.
Hey,
and I think that goes back to like what I was looking for when I Googled the skin hunger, right? And that I'm on the road probably 80% of my tour life is just on the road, and I'm not touching people that I don't know. Okay. Right. And so that was before Rona, sugar. We just not about that. That's not what we're doing.
Not feeling that in your spirit.
No. And so also because people have different kind of energies and different kind of all kind of stuff. And but at the same time, I'm doing the work of the poetry, right? And so I'm trying to touch people in so many different ways, but the actual desire and fulfillment that I need, right? That people need, because humans need humans, right? And so the interaction that I'm not getting is like, I long for that. And so I feel like maybe that's why I choose relationships that it just so happens they can't necessarily fulfill everything that I need them to. And maybe it's so unrealistic that I need to change my expectations, my rules, and what I think about a relationship can and should be. I don't know.
Do you know your love language?
I do.
Random. What's your
No,
love?
It's not random at all. Mine is touch, touch and quality time. That's my first two, and they like neck and neck in that thing.
Yeah.
How you figure out that?
You Google it. Come on here.
Yeah, what do you do?
Test online.
Oh, you have to do a test.
There's a test online. Yeah, and it gives you your results.
We can do that later.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not. I don't like touching. I don't care who you are.
Okay.
Like, you can be my whole bae. And I just don't like it. Like, touch me sparingly. And when you do touch me, it has to be in that special moment that touch feels like, to me.
Otherwise, you like.
And that's why I don't like other people touching me too. Because when I am touched, I want it to be that special touch.
That's right.
And don't just come around me talking about no. You know, some of the students come to me, Mr. Johnson, and then they just like right here, and I'm like, oh,
That's right.
Back up, child.
That's right.
Okay, so Ebony, tell us, what do you stand for, or what's your golden rule?
That's a great question. What do I stand for? Can y'all give me some ideas of what y'all stand for and what your golden rules are?
Right. Mine is always, pretty much. I'm a server by nature.
Mm-hmm.
I give, and I like to take care of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that, like, I tell myself, don't look for the return in that person. The universe is going to supply that return. So I try to make sure that I'm not trying to hold people accountable. Like you know, I did this for you, and I did that for you, and I did this for you.
That's
now
real.
What you gonna do for me?
That's real.
You know, no, I did that for you out the kindness of my heart, and the universe is gonna bring it back around if it's through you or through something else.
That's right.
'Cause I always see it. I done found $100 bill laying on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And one time when I was downtown, I gave that lady my Frank's pizza.
Okay.
It came right back around.
That's right.
Lord knows Frank's is
good. And I gave her a whole
away.
slice because I was being greedy anyway, and I bought
That's
two,
right.
even though I could only eat one. It was for a reason. I just gave it to her, you know? Here you go. Because she was digging in the can, like trying to eat.
That's so sad, man.
Right. So what about you? Your golden rule, something you live by.
Integrity. If I say something, I mean it.
That's
and
right.
I want to make sure that what I'm saying aligns with who I am. I don't want nobody to be trying to say, "Oh, Courtney did it." No. If you know me and you know me well, you're gonna know that if someone comes to you and tells you that I did A, B, and C,
That's right.
you're gonna be like, "Nope, not her."
That's
because I try to be the same me all the time.
Right.
Consistency.
Like, you don't get no difference, and I'm just straightforward. I don't deal in the gray and murky areas. I just tell you straightforward. So that's it. You can't.
That's
and all that lying and all.
Oh,
I try
That's
to stray away from that because I don't want anybody to ever be able to say, "Well, Courtney lied about this." And no,
Right.
That's right.
I like that.
That's right.
I like that because I don't lie because I can't remember it anyway. So
exactly.
That part. That part. Yeah, I feel like both of those actually is a practice for me and something I take very seriously and consider in just like my everyday life, right? I think the only things I would add that is more encompassing of who I am is that I'm trying to learn and constantly practicing how not to give more to others than I give to myself, because sometimes I'm considering everyone else, and I hear y'all like you are considering other people, and that idea, and then the idea of when it comes to yourself is how do we consider ourselves. And so I try to make sure that I give to myself too, and whether that look like patience or grace, abundance, reaping, sowing, right? Integrity. I want to be able to do that and make it relatable in a sense that, oh yeah, me too, right?
Right.
I'm important too.
I like that.
Yeah.
Me too. So, and going back to like relationships, you told us that, you keep choosing people that aren't available.
Why you gotta keep saying it like that though, Bluez? Like, I mean, no, I'm just messing. Okay.
That's what you said.
They say,
but they say sometimes that we pick people that are like our parents. So does that relate?
That's what we doing today? Yes. Yeah. Okay. And it affects everybody. Also, just want to say that loud and clear.
Right.
How we come to learn to love is always goes back to how we were raised and the people that first loved us and what they showed us love is. And so a lot of it is also an undoing of, right? And so I'm in the process of undoing some things, and not choosing what is comfortable, but choosing what is best. Right. And so even in that, it's a phenomenon sometimes, right? Because you can be attracted to a person that reminds you of a person that might not have given you what you needed, and so you see it in this person, and you don't realize that you're seeing the exact same traits at first. You see this person, and you're like, oh, finally, this person is going to give me what it is that I need, and then they don't, or they can't, right? And some people just aren't available to give us every single thing we need. Right. In the ways that we were expecting. So
Man, yeah, speaking of gospel.
So speaking of learning from your parents, what moment in your childhood made you know what type of adult you would be?
What moment in my childhood made me realize what type of adult I would be? I guess just a sidebar. My dad was very abusive to my mom, and I realized that at some point in my life, I realized that my parents, I had never seen them kiss. I had never seen them be affectionate and loving and kind to one another ever. In my whole entire life, I don't have any reflection of this. And there are people in my life who know my parents when they were in love. And I think that some parts of me are fantasizing that and wanting that, right? I want to see my parents in love. And even though I know I will never see that, that's what I'm fantasizing and wanting in my relationships. And I think that's what it's like, oh, this is the kind of adult you're going to be. You're going to be loving. You're going to show affection. You're going to be warm. You're going to be careful and thoughtful and kind. And, all of these different things that you would assume are just normal things, right? That you would assume are just like what you would expect, right? That you would expect is just going to happen in a relationship. But mind you, no.
Mind you,
that wasn't the case when I was growing up. So I think once I realized that I would never see that out of my parents, and that they were just basically their job, or the reason that they came together might have been to create myself and my siblings, right? And they did that job,
right?
You know what I mean? And it's just that simple. And I guess maybe I was. You said what age? I guess I was maybe. It's so fascinating. Maybe 12, 13. But even then, I created my own need, that it's like, oh, I want that. I need to see that. I need to be able to prove to myself that it can be done. I can have that, even if I didn't see my parents have that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's heavy.
Just to go back and say, I'm gonna do it right this time.
That's right.
I think that's what we all want to do.
We want to just do it right. That's right. Yeah. I want to get it right.
Right. Well, talking about getting it right or not, describe a moment that you feel like you failed terribly.
Ooh, I guess if we're saying it within the same vein, I've been married before. A lot of people don't know that about me. I've been married before, and we had no business getting married. If I'm being honest, we had no business getting married. We were super young, and I don't say that to mean that young people can't get married. I mean that to say that we were new and we hadn't discussed enough of anything to know what it was supposed to look like. Okay. And sometimes what it's supposed to look like, you only know based on your experience. And so what you're seeing is what you actually end up trying to just recreate, rather than coming in and having the conversations of like, hey, my parents did this. I don't want to do that though. You know what I mean? And so there was just already a lot of misconceptions about marriage that we didn't even know to expect. And we were really good friends, and that's probably where it should have stayed. We were really, really good friends. And we also had found each other at a time where I was getting out of a really abusive relationship. His father was diagnosed with bone cancer, and so we needed each other. And it seemed like that need grew into a toxicity that was overbearing, honestly. And we couldn't be our best selves anymore. And we weren't making each other better either. And so I look at that as a failure. At the same time, I feel like failures definitely can help you be a better person, to know better and do better. So I haven't been married since then. I have been in very long-term relationships after that, but marriage in itself scared me so much that I was like, I don't want to fail again like that, right? I don't want for people to, and the only things I think about when I think about the failure of that is how much money and time went into it. And I'm like, yo, my people showed up for this wedding, bruh. And, like there was money involved in this thing. And we made some very big adult decisions as children, right? That we were still so young-minded. And man, if I would have known better, I could have did that way better, right? And so I feel like that was a time when that's one of the things that I think about as the biggest failure that I'm having to overcome. Yeah.
Do you forgive yourself?
I do 100%. And to be honest, like, I don't even know if I could have went into another relationship if I didn't forgive myself, because I don't think that's fair to the next person. Right. It's not their fault, right? Like, and it really wasn't even my fault. We using ignorant, right? I didn't know. I didn't know.
Wow. So how do you deal with internalizing others' perception of you and your truth?
I like to say that what other people think about me is not my business. It has nothing to do with me. That's them and theirs, and how they've interpreted that is based on what they believe about themselves and where they are in their lives, right? At the same time, I'm human. And so then therefore I'm going to make mistakes. And sometimes I do value other people's opinion, especially if I value them, that person in itself. So if someone can make me a better me, I accept that. Right. And I like to do it in the form of dialogue, like talk to me, help me. Passing a judgment on me doesn't, you can meet somebody with the same energy, right? Like if you come at me, buck, right, I'm finna buck back, because that's my ego, right? Like my ego was like, we can both show up like this, you know what I'm talking about? If that's what you want, sugar, we can get out there on that thing. But I appreciate people who take the time to just pull me to the side and be like, there's a different way. I see what you was trying to do. I see where you were. Here's a different way to think about it. And so sometimes when I do look at the comments underneath the video or something like that, I just, I want to maybe some of that is like, I could see it from that perspective, but that doesn't mean that I have to own that. That doesn't mean I have to do anything with it besides be like, I could see it from that perspective. Or, what, you wildin'? I don't got time. You ain't talking to me. That's also my thing. You ain't talking to me. Sometimes people ain't talking to me. You talking, but you ain't talking to me. Right. And so that's okay too, sugar. Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, I see you. I see what you're trying to tell me, and you can definitely sometimes deliver it in the wrong way.
Yes, right.
The person is not willing to receive it because it's like, you coming at me wrong.
That's right.
We don't play with each other. It's constructive criticism all the time.
All day.
And we have tough skin for it anyway. I already know if I have something I'm trying to even work on artistically, and I always take it to her, and she's gonna come at me and tell me what's wrong, because I want to know what's wrong with it. Don't praise me, That's right. Say what's wrong. Let's see, and then we move forward from there, because we critique each other like crazy.
Yeah, I don't care nothing about Black Blues.
And I understand.
You talking about Vincent? That's right. That's right. I think also like it's important to find what's right with each other too. So I get the idea of like not praising each other, but I also know that Black people can be hard. We can be hard on each other. No, of course y'all are on the praise. Y'all love each other. Yeah. And that's times a part of it, like the hard and the easy and the I love you, but let me give you right. And so I just know that Black people can be hard on each other at times, and sometimes it's just in, like you're saying, it's just in the presentation of how you critique someone and positive criticism. I heard you say that.
Right, because as we know in the poetry community, we have a lot of different kind of voices out there, and you always want your voice to be your voice regardless. But then sometimes you might get some kind of critique that tells you like you not, I don't want to say not good enough, but and I don't like me personally. When someone comes to me, it just depends on how you give it to me. But don't just be like, bucking.
That's right.
It ain't about the buck.
That ain't you don't want the buck back. Right. That's what it also is.
Because what I heard about you is that you nook if that buck.
Listen, and I get low too. Like I got about 5 minutes left. You want it?
You want it? Come on.
I go to the gym. Okay, I work out.
Not the gym. So we asked for 3 words that currently describe, who you are. You said one of them is persistent, and if we turn to the chapter in the Bible, it translates into the Greek. They say that persistent, especially in spite of opposition or obstacles, and like preserving. I don't even like that definition.
You don't like that one?
I don't like it, but that's what they say.
What they
in
say?
In the Greek, preserving.
You don't like that one?
It just stands out. But what was that thing that told you that to succeed you had to be persistent?
Well, I can give you multiple ideas of that, even just like being a full-time artist, right? Like, you got to be persistent in that thing. You got to be preserved.
Yeah, you gotta work
right? Come on. And so with the idea of just like, it's a constant. And some of that is you just having to, I created this work. I made it. It helped to heal me. I'm putting it out there. Now I just have to sit and wait. So I just have to be persistent and keep creating to the next thing. And then, you know, this idea that people feel like overnight sensations is a thing when it's not. Those people have been preserved. They have been persistent, right? And so just because it's someone else's first time, you know, experiencing this person doesn't mean that they haven't been on a grind, right? And I feel like a grind is a part of persistence.
Right.
Yeah, being persistent.
Right. I had an issue at a show one time. A lot of people in this particular, I guess, what do you call it? Group or not group, a clique or
organization?
Organization.
Okay.
They don't really know who I am because I don't really go to their stuff.
That's right.
And after I performed, somebody came up to me and was like, you know what? You really good. You should keep doing this.
Uh-huh.
Well, thank you.
I've had that before.
I've been doing this since 2002.
Yeah, I've had that too.
You know? And then one person came up to me and told me, "Oh, how you doing? My name is Da, and I'm a professional poet."
And you're poet.
And I'm like, "Well, I'm on two people payroll as a poet.
That's right.
And so if that's not professional, I don't know what it is."
That's right.
Because I'm getting a check.
That's right.
What you hitting? Exposure.
Ooh, this shirt. I love it.
Girl, keep selling them tickets. That is not my thing. I'm not supposed to sell no tickets.
I love that.
Was that wrong?
No, I think that's good.
You're true.
That's right. That's what we doing. That's all we doing.
Oh my God. Your second word is present, which means mentally alert and calm, especially in emergencies. Describe a time when you found yourself not to be present. How did you check yourself?
I think it's easy to check out when you're overwhelmed or when you're tired or when you just simply don't want to be there, right? And I guess, so let me go back. Let me just say, for 2020, I made a declaration to myself that I wasn't going to fake it at all. So if I don't want to be there, if I don't want to do it no more, I'm not going to. And when it's time for me to go, I drove my own car, I'm going to leave. So that's where that is. And even just doing that has caused me to like pay attention to what that feels like for me. Like, what's happening? Am I hungry? How do I get my needs met right now so that I can be present? Yeah. Before I show up, am I emotional? Can I just go ahead and say, hey, I'm not feeling too good right now. Just emotionally, I got a lot of stuff going on right now. Right. And just be honest about that because we're human and not have to put on a facade. But there are times when I've been, let's say, at a show, and at the time I can't remember, like the biggest moment was that I was going through a breakup, a very, very hard breakup from a 6-year relationship, and I had a show the next day, right? And we had just broken up. I got a show the next day, and I travel out there, and these people don't care nothing about no breakup. They want these poems, you know? And I took a moment to realize that I was dropping my poems, right? Like heavy. And that doesn't happen to me unless I'm not present.
Right.
And so I literally said, hey, y'all, I'm going to stop right now. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I know that y'all might not know what's going on with me. I'm going through a breakup. So anybody who can understand what that is and want to empathize with me, I appreciate that. But even if you don't, I'm going to take a moment, just take this minute, and then I can give you myself. And I did that. I stepped away from the mic, and I was terrified because that had never happened to me before. And I don't know what the contracts say about that. Or, you know, you might lose people in that moment, or people might, we didn't see you come to take a moment, or drink no water, or, you know what I mean? Like,
you don't need no
water. You don't get moments, you know? And so, but even just that request made me more present, right? Because I, in that moment, was like, yo, I'm not good. And I need to say that to y'all. And I hope that it also encourages and empowers you to be honest about when you're not present and when you're going through a moment and how you want people to handle and hold you, right? And they did it, and maybe they didn't want to, but I did it for myself. And then I came back and I killed the show, right? And that's like a great ending to the to the story, but it's also one of those things where in the moment it was scary, and I hated that. I hated that I couldn't catch it.
Yeah,
just get it.
You know, I hated that I couldn't.
Moment.
Yeah, it was a little too vulnerable for my liking.
Another word you said was perseverance. So steady persistence in a course of action, a purpose, a state, especially in spite of difficulties, obstacles, or discouragement.
That's right.
That still holds true to you, right?
That's right.
You kind of answered that question that I was going to ask you within the other one. So I just want to make sure you still there in the perseverance.
That's right. Perseverance. Yes, I hold tight. We got to grind, and it's impeccable, you know. And I feel like a part of my perseverance, I wouldn't be who I am without the people that help hold me down, and then lift me up, right? And so that's important to me to say too.
Right.
So what are some steps that you intend to take throughout your life's journey to make sure that you remain consistent to living in your truth?
Well, I've set an alarm on my phone to remind me to ask. The phone asks me, "Did you eat?" It's literally an alarm that goes off to say, "Did you eat?" Because sometimes I can get so busy and caught up with whatever I think is more important than the vessel and the body and the home that I live in. Right? So did we feed the house? Did we take a moment to take a nap? And I love naps. That's my jam. A good nap, Jesus. Queen. A good nap. Right. And I'm told that I have always been that way. My mom said I was the easiest baby to get to go to sleep. If I was sleepy, nobody had to ask me nothing. We gonna take a nap because I know when we tapped out, sugar. Right. And so I definitely do that. I have been getting massages. And that will help, I feel like, with my skin hunger at times. And then also just like a way to relax my body. From all of the intensity that it goes through.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
Self-care.
Yeah.
So speaking of your child self, what would grown woman Ebony tell little Ebony?
I know, right?
On the block.
On the block. Look her. What would I tell? I think I would maybe try to get my younger self to not think so far ahead, because I think that can be overwhelming. I think, how can you get your needs met right now in this moment? What do you need right now? Not tomorrow, not 30 minutes from now.
Right.
What do you need right now that can make you feel good, that can make you feel whole, can make you feel seen and loved? And how can you get that right now? Who do you need to ask for that of right now, right? And who can help you get that? And so that's what I would say, because I'm having to teach myself that now, and my child self needs to know that your needs will get met. Sometimes the needs that you think that you have are way far in the future, have nothing to do with right now.
Girl, you preaching to me.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I'm glad Ebony telling grown black blues that.
Okay.
I need to hear that.
Yeah.
So, is there something that that we should have asked you that we didn't ask you?
You know, that's so okay. So, right? Probably, right? But so I just, with all of the, you know, Rona, right, going around and everything, I've been, right, the Rona. A lot of artists have been saying that they are struggling financially, and their shows have been canceled, and rightfully so, right? We need to like really be looking at how this thing is affecting each other. Right. And so like my shows, yes, have been canceled and stopped and paused. And it's so fitting that all of the different conversations that we've had, you know, it was interesting that me financially, I've put myself in a place where I have a savings, and that I just honestly, truly believe that I will reap what I sow, right? And I sow a lot. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to reap all of that back in abundance and fullness and blessings. And so I'm good. The only thing that has been compromised is that, I shouldn't say the only thing, but one of the main things that have been compromised is that I'm not sure how to pay for or how to continue with my graduate program because I pay for it out of pocket.
Right.
Because I refuse to get student loans any longer in my life. And so I have to make some hard decisions about where should I put my savings? Should I put it into school or should I just put it, like, let's just make sure Ebony good, right? And taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing that. And that's fine. And then I got a message when I got here. I got a message from an old supervisor that had saw my post. And she said, Ebony, I'm willing to pay for 1 semester of your school.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
And that just really choked me up, y'all. I promise you that people are so good to me. And that makes me want to be good to other people.
Right.
Wow. You know what I mean? That's so grand to me that she thinks that highly of me.
Right.
And she got it and she's willing to give it. And so I guess the only thing I want to make sure is that if you can take care of each other, do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just do it in the ways that you know that you can. Because I thought that was so amazing. And I just wanted to say that.
Right.
And I feel like that's like a lottery situation where
Right.
that was like a 1 in a million chance. That's not why I posted that. You know what I mean? Like I had no ideas. I never had an idea that would be, because we're so used to being able to figure it out. We gonna figure it out. We gonna postpone. We gonna wait. We'll see. You know what I mean? And so then it goes back to gotta move my money around. You know? Gotta snatch it out. They can't take it if it ain't there. And so it just goes back, and I love that things come full circle, and I feel so fortunate for that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I would have had to hear the a Holy Ghost shuffle.
Okay.
That's right.
If I would have got that, I'd have hit it. Your Holy Ghost shuffle would have been
'cause
on.
that's but God.
But God. No one else.
Wow.
Golly.
Wow.
I love
So
it.
we want to thank you for coming on to the Birth and Truth podcast.
To our little old show.
Yeah,
little
y'all
show,
doing an amazing
whatever.
job, Sugar. Y'all doing an amazing job. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Social media, where can the people find you?
Where can they find me, child? Usually I tell people to just Google me, Ebony Stewart, EBONYSTEWART, and you'll find it all. But if you on, what's that? Instagram, child.
Mhm.
You just like pictures and maybe some memes. That's Gully Princess, GULLY Princess. Ain't no Z's, ain't no underscores. We ain't doing none of that. And then if you on Twitter and you appreciate rants and retweets, that's EB Poetry, as in Eb Poetry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Social media, Court.
We are the Birth and Truth podcast on
Yes.
Facebook and Instagram. We are on Twitter, but I don't
We
remember
on Twitter?
our hashtag on Twitter.
Look at
or
y'all.
our
Oh.
name on Twitter.
Okay, so we on
It'll be in the
Twitter.
comments.
Black Bluez, like
And
what?
YouTube.
Yeah, we are. on
That's
YouTube.
right.
Right. So we'd like to thank y'all for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next episode. It's 4.
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Oh wow,
Peace.
that's cool.
Thanks.